Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about being anxious preoccupied and the self-abandonment that takes place. And you've probably heard me talk about self-abandonment many times over the past few years on this channel, but I really want to do a deeper dive today into how to really get to the bottom rungs of the ladder here and how to start doing some reconditioning work so you can heal, you can change. And also by ending self-abandonment, you will also no longer be as attracted to people who will abandon you. So we'll talk about how these sort of layers intersect here, as you may have heard before in sort of different forms, but I'm really going to consolidate it in this video today. So first and foremost, what is self-abandonment? Well, self-abandonment is essentially when we leave parts of ourselves behind, and parts of ourselves really are our emotions, our needs, whatever needs or desires we have, and our own true thoughts, opinions, beliefs in that mental faculty of life. And also our goals, our plans, our mission, our vision, our interests for life. It's when we leave all of those parts behind. So why do anxious preoccupied individuals do this? Well, number one, APs do this because generally, if you grew up in a dynamic or household where your feelings and your needs weren't truly seen and heard and connected to consistently enough over time, then you learned, okay, in order to bond and connect, then since it's not really working on my behalf, my feelings and needs aren't really made space for enough, then I have to learn to get really good at connecting with other people's feelings and needs. And at least by doing that, I can form a bond or connection with others. And that can go pretty far eventually. It can even be things like if you have a strict parent who punishes you for saying no to what they, set up for you. If you have a parent who, and of course, we have to socialize children, right? Of course, there's an element of socialization that's important and classical conditioning that's important, but there's also healthier ways. There's things like conscious conditioning and things we can do to negotiate a child's needs rather than just tell a child your needs are not okay. But anyways, if you grew up in a household where there was a lot of heavy-handedness on punishments, you're putting time out for long periods of time, if you have needs or if your feelings are not really made space for and you're given a hard time about that, it can even go so far as your feelings, your needs are not only not made space for, and so you learn to not make space for them yourself, but it can actually go so far as to think that if I express these things too much, I'll be rejected, I'll be abandoned, I'll be punished or shamed for this. And so that can add an even stronger layer of, okay, I have to repress these elements or aspects of self. One other really important part, by the way, of self-abandonment is self-abandonment of our boundaries, self-abandonment of thinking that it's okay to say no to the things that don't resonate as a yes for us. And so all of these elements of self do a few really crucial things. So number one, when these elements of self are abandoned, we leave ourselves running on empty. We leave our own gas tank of personal fulfillment running on empty. And then as an anxious preoccupied attachment style, since your strategy the whole time has basically been learned to adapt by getting really good at bonding to other people's feelings and needs and really tuning into those things, you end up in this situation where you're kind of looking for covert contracts. You're kind of looking for this concept or idea of okay, well, if I just meet all of your feelings and needs and just bend over backwards for you, eventually you'll bond to me, and then you may want to meet my feelings and needs back. But the problem with this is that everything that we do in the relationship to ourselves forms a very powerful subconscious comfort zone. And think of your subconscious comfort zone as being this guiding metric that will be or a set of metrics really, that will have a massive influence on what you're attracted to in other people. So if you are somebody who's constantly self-abandoning, your subconscious mind, though you may not feel emotionally fulfilled, your subconscious mind will be well, we're surviving, so our patterns are working. And so leaving this space of being used to the feeling of abandonment, being used to being around people that are kind of abandoning or dismissive of your feelings and needs like you are, will feel actually unsafe. And because it's unfamiliar, it's uncharted territory. And you can see this show up so often when we talk about subconscious comfort zone. It's when you're outside of your subconscious comfort zone, your subconscious is everything it can to sort of drag you back in. So what essentially takes place is anxious preoccupieds don't only stay in this state of self-abandonment, which, by the way, No wonder you feel panicked when somebody's not available to meet your needs, because it's like your gas tank is on empty and you pull into the gas station and the gas station's closed. You're like, but I'm on empty. And so I don't know what to do now. And that panic ensues. And that's the analogy for if you're leaving the relationship to yourself on empty and don't have a good way of like making space for your own thoughts, opinions, needs, desires, feelings, boundaries, goals, interests for the future, plans, things that you want to do. If you don't have space for any of that, because you're prioritizing everybody above yourself all the time, then when somebody isn't there to meet your need, it's horrifying. It's really painful and terrifying. And it feels like death to self a little bit, which is why you see this like sort of panic dynamic from anxious preoccupied specifically. So when you look at it through this lens, you'll also see inevitably that one of the biggest ways of healing self-abandonment becomes to stop abandoning yourself, to learn to meet your needs. And this also becomes one of the fastest ways to become securely attached. So I can give you some steps here for how to start like meeting your needs, paying attention to these things. I do want to also address that so much of like really moving the needle is that we have to address these behaviors from the subconscious level of mind. That's where like real change happens and then sticks, because the conscious mind can't outwill or overpower the subconscious mind. So we can consciously be aware, but unless we do reprogramming, then you're going to be like, well, I'm aware, but I keep falling back into the same hole, right? I keep going back through the same pattern. So I do have a course all about this. It's called Anxious Preoccupied Reprogramming. You can check it out for 7 days for free. It helps you get in touch with your needs, know what they are, have strategies to show up for them more effectively, and also reprogram core wounds that you have that lead to fears of prioritizing yourself, because you can see consciously the power of prioritizing yourself and you can get it intellectually from this video. But until you recondition the fear, you'll still find yourself blocked, right? It'll be like, oh, I get it. I should stop self-abandoning. I should make space to meet my own needs, but I don't want to do that because I'd rather get them met through other people. And I'm not saying not to. I'm saying that until you learn to meet them for yourself, your subconscious mind, because it's protecting that comfort zone, not only won't be attracted to people who will securely show up to meet your needs, but will actively reject people who are not self-abandoning you because it's prioritizing what it's used to. So that's why, like, when we learn to show up for ourselves and build a relationship to ourselves, that's not to say like, oh, then block everybody else out in your life and who cares about other people. It's the opposite. It's saying that will then prime your subconscious mind to be able to be attracted to people who will be good for you, who want to show up, who want to meet your needs, who won't abandon you. And it will help you be in a position where you're ready to receive that kind of love from other people. Because if you pay close attention as an AP, when people tend to show that to you a lot right now, you may find that you kind of subtly reject it or move away from it. And you keep choosing, the person who you may know is not quite ready to give you what you're needing, but yet you find yourself continuously going back. So this is actually what's happening beneath the surface. Anyways, with all of that being said, so something that's really important here is to be able to take a look and look at all the ways you abandon yourself. You can actually write a list if you want some high level steps. You can write a list of all the times, all the places in your career, when it comes to your relationship to money. Maybe you're people pleasing financially by paying for things or taking on more financial responsibilities in ways that are unequal. So career, financial, look in your mental area of life, your thoughts, opinions, ideas. Emotionally, where are you prioritizing everybody else's emotions over like your emotions, your feelings? And then in relationships, look at your friendships, your family relationships, your romantic partnerships. Make a list of all the ways you self-abandon, and then try to journal out what it would look like for you to do something differently instead. Okay. Now there's so much more than I can say in just like this quick video. I feel like this could be like just on its own, a 2-hour topic, but, so get clear about those things first. What would it look like instead to stop self-abandonment? Know that by stopping self-abandonment, I'm actually on the path to becoming more securely attached and reconditioning this comfort zone of constantly being attracted to people who will make me feel abandoned or actively abandon me. But also know that you're going to have to also assess your fears. What are my fears of actually prioritizing myself, actually making space to share my own thoughts, my opinions, my ideas, my needs? There'll be ideas that you're carrying at a subconscious level, like, well, if I do that, I'll be abandoned. If I do that, I won't be good enough. If I do that, somebody will not like my opinions and ideas, and then they'll reject me or exclude me. You'll see these big, like primal fears that are there, and those have to be reconditioned. So that's in the Anxious Preoccupied Attachment Style Reprogramming course. Come check it out. You can go through it for free for 7 days. And that will help you remove those fears, then have the awareness to know how to stop doing this pattern, and to also assess what your needs really are in those areas so you can show up and create healthy, active strategies for that. And this will be a massive part of becoming more securely attached, and also not feeling so afraid when somebody's imperfect or they're not there, or they don't return a phone call right away because you're not at the gas station with your tank on empty. So you can check that course for free below using the link. And that's it for today. Also, if you want to check like what percent along the way you are to becoming securely attached, we have a free attachment style quiz you can take below as well anytime. Okay, thank you for watching. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Please subscribe. See you later.